Looking at the steering wheel as well as the cluster screen and head-up display inside of the Cadillac Vistiq. In this video, you're going to learn everything you need to know. So let's start off. The steering wheel inside the vehicle is going to be power telescoping. So along the left side of the column there, you can go in, out, up, and down in order to find that perfect position for you. Once you have your steering wheel set up, you're then going to set up your side view mirrors. So you have to actually click whatever one's highlighted is going to be the one that's going to be adjusted. And then you're going to have your driver's seat set up here as well. So adjust your backrest and then move the seat forwards, backwards, up and down, etc. using this. Once that's set up, you're going to tap set and either 1 or 2 for it to remember your own personal memory profile. Then there are so many different things, but you've got a few other buttons down here too. So this first one is going to be for your parking brake in order to toggle that on or off. Toggling it on, you have to just push the button to toggle it off, push and hold the brake pedal, push again, in order to toggle it off. There is the option of raising or lowering the vehicle height as well. Open and close the trunk door. And then there's also a little rocker switch here in order to adjust the brightness of the cluster screen. And then you've got so many different buttons and stocks that are available here too. So stock along the left-hand side. You can go obviously up or down that way in order for to activate your turn signals. And then you've got controls for your front wiper, controls for your rear wiper at different levels. You can then push up on that one in order to be able to get your rear windshield wiper fluid going. And then there's a button on the tip of the left stalk. So you're going to push and hold that one. So if you just do a light tap, that's just going to give you an individual wipe. But if you push and hold it, that is going to activate your actual wipers there. Nice and simple. Now, flashing at your high beams there, super simple, but I mean, you see here, they're not actually locking on. And that's because we've got different options for our lights. So you've got this little tray along the outside. So if you tap the tray here, so you've got a few different looks that are available. So you've got a few different modes. You've got different layouts for the screen. So as you tap to the different layouts, you've got the option of linking the look to the drive mode, or you can customize the look there. The drive mode selector is pretty neat. So as you move between the different drive modes here, you can see there it's going to slightly customize the look of that cluster. You can unlink it though if you'd like. And then you've got a few unique looks that are available too. So do you want it a little bit simpler? You've got a full mapping cluster there. There's an assistance view here too. Pretty useful. And then you've got a night vision mode. So night vision really neat at nighttime. So if there are obstacles, if there are animals and people, etc., it's actually going to show you inside of that night mode and let you know if there's something there. It's actually really neat. From here, you can move back in order to adjust out the head-up display. So there are a few different options. So there's either augmented reality, standard, or an assist view with a few basics. You can have different things showing up. The augmented reality one, if you've got the Vistiq with the augmented reality, it looks really, really neat. Because if you've got an upcoming turn coming, it actually shows you inside of the head-up display. It's animated. Really sharp look and a little bit of overkill for most, but pretty neat. Or you can move into your available trip counters. And if you wanted to, you can also reset your trip counter. You're just going to push and hold in order to be able to reset that counter. But let's go back, change the layout here. You've got different options. So clean layout, but I like that just basic gauge look. And then where I was going with this, your light options. So you want to be in your auto mode here the majority of the time. One step up from that. So you can adjust it through this left part of the cluster. You can also adjust it out through the infotainment system here. So if you go into your control settings along the bottom, you've got all of your advanced controls, specifically your lights. So you can toggle on the overhead dome lighting from the infotainment system. But I recommend keeping yourself in the auto high beam mode with your lights set on auto here too. And the reason why is because if the vehicle recognizes high beams are needed, it turns them on automatically. If somebody's oncoming, it turns them off before turning them right back on again. But if you wanted to permanently lock your high beams out, if you go into your headlamp mode, so you've got different modes here. So if we look, can't push away. You've got to be in the bottom mode. Push away to turn them on, pull towards you in order to turn them off. It's just that, like I said, the auto mode is where you want to be the majority of the time. And then you can also toggle your lane keeping system on or off this way. So if the vehicle recognizes the lane markings, you start to veer over into another lane without signaling, it's going to nudge you back into your lane. It's a pretty useful system. You've got a little paddle here too. So it's a regenerative braking paddle, so you can push and hold it lightly or a little bit heavier if you want to. It's actually pretty neat because what's going to happen there is you hit that paddle, you're going to notice that this drops down. So it's essentially regenerative braking. It's how much regenerative braking charge is it trying to get a hold of, which is pretty neat. And then you've got these buttons here. So the easy one is your heated steering wheel. So you can toggle that on or off, and it's heated all the way around. And then you've got the other buttons, which are going to be for the cruise control system. There are 3 different types of cruise control that you're going to find inside of the Vistiq. So there's normal cruise, adaptive cruise, and then super cruise, which is full hands-free driving. The difference, normal cruise is exactly that. So you set it at, let's say, 60. If the car in front of you slows down, yours will not brake. The adaptive, if that car slows down, yours will automatically brake. They change lanes, you change lanes, it'll pick you back up to your previously set speed. And then there's the Super Cruise, which is full hands-free driving. When you've got the adaptive cruise control system turned on, you've got your icons there that show up, letting you know that it's enabled. You then tap this button for Super Cruise, on versus off. So when it's available, what you're going to notice is that the steering wheel there goes green, and this upper part of the steering wheel goes green as well. And that means that we're in full hands-free mode. So you can take your hands off the steering wheel, feed off the gas and the brake, and the car does everything for you. But like I said, actually setting the system up is simple. So you toggle it on or off this way. You then set your speed by pushing down. You can lightly click up or down to increase, decrease 1 kilometer, 1 mile per hour at a time. A big click up or big click down is increasing, decreasing at larger increments. If you take your cancel button there, so you can hit the brake pedal to cancel, hit there to cancel, you can push up to resume your previously set speed. But you take this button, if you push and hold it, that's going to put you into either regular cruise control or push and hold again in order to get to the adaptive cruise control. And the adaptive is where this one comes into play. And that's where you get into your different gap levels. You can see there even in the head-up display. So it's how close or far are you from that vehicle that's in front of you with 3 unique levels that are available. I'm personally okay level 1 most of the time, but you might want to be on level 2 or 3, just depending on your own personal comfort level. And I mentioned there, you've also got your Super Cruise button, and that's the full hands-free driving system. Now, inside of the infotainment system, if you go to your settings, vehicle, and then your Super Cruise lane change, there are 3 options. So either off, turn signal activated, or automatic. And the difference, when you've got Super Cruise enabled, if it's turned off, you hit the turn stalk, and you manually have to change lanes yourself. With turn signal activated, you hit that turn stalk to go left or right. The car's going to check to see if there's anybody in that lane and automatically change lanes for you. And then the automatic is that system on steroids. So what happens there is if you've got the speed set and the car in front of you is going too slow, you don't need it to do anything. The car will automatically put on the turn stalk for you. It'll automatically change lanes for you. It's going to pass that car, put the turn stalk back on again, and pull you back into the lane that you were previously in. It is a brilliant system. If you want a live demonstration, though, of using the cruise control system and a better explanation, you'll find that down in the description of this video. You're also going to find this little V mode, and that's going to give you the best possible performance inside the vehicle. But you do have the option of switching between all of your available drive modes there too, including a My mode, so you can customize an individual mode. So if you wanted to adjust a few things out, you've got that flexibility. Along the right-hand side here, you've got your shifter. So you're just going to push and hold the brake pedal. You can pull in towards you to go into neutral. You then pull towards you, go up for reverse, pull towards you and down in order to go into drive. And then there's a button on the tip of that right stalk in order to put yourself into park. And then I'm not sure if you caught it there, you've also got your 360 camera, and the quality is fantastic. Day, nighttime, it looks really good. And there are a series of different views that are available for that camera. Then you've got all your buttons down here, so you've got a voice command prompt. So if you wanted to do things like change songs, stations, etc., you can adjust climate using your voice and a number of other things. If you were hooked up for your phone, so Android, iPhone, push and hold in order to be able to activate your Siri or Google Assistant. You've got different options for your audio sources there. So you can move up and down in order to get to all of your audio sources using the switch here. And then this one actually acts as a multifunction. So you can move up or down. You can also push in the middle in order for it to act as an OK button. And that's the same thing. So if you ever get any messages on this part of the cluster, you can just push in order to be able to act as an OK button there. You can answer or hang up on a phone call this way, change between any presets that you've got set up and down this way as well if you'd like, and then you can move up or down there for your volume. Now you saw there, if you got this one, you've got your source selector. So which source are you listening to? When you're on a source, you can then move up and down this way too, if you wanted it to act as a little seek button. And then inside of the cluster screen, the left-hand portion here is a widgetized area where you can add in a few different things for the vehicle status. In the infotainment system, if you go to your vehicle status, you've got a few options, so tire pressure, etc., that are available. So tire pressure, energy info. Let's say if you wanted to have your tire pressure along that part of the display, you can do that. If you remove it from the display now, that's going to give you a date and time. And that's the same thing across the board. So if you wanted to have your air quality there or your energy information, so either energy usage or efficiency, you can add it into the driver's display. Back to the cluster, you've got the direction that you're currently facing, your current odometer, whether or not you've got the cruise control system enabled, disabled, the lane keeping system, etc. You can see there ride height if available, the gear that you're currently in, so park, reverse, neutral, drive, etc. Pretty simple. If the seats detect weight, it's who's got their seatbelts currently plugged in. And then you've got your different options along the side here. So I want you to think of this gauge as your traditional tachometer to a degree. So it's your power gauge. You put your foot down and it's how much power are you actively using. The gauge down there, the lower part, is going to be the regen braking or the charge gauge. So if you use the left paddle in order to be able to slow the vehicle down, or if you're hitting the brake pedal, you can see how much charge the vehicle's trying to recapture at that point. And then you can also utilize the one pedal drive system. And then the gauge along the right-hand side there is going to be your current power gauge. So it's how much charge does the vehicle have, along with your current range until empty. So miles, kilometers, etc. It's just going to be based off of how you have it set up. Inside of the infotainment system, if you go to your settings and scroll all the way down until you get to systems, you've got units, and you can change out your measurement units. So do you want to be in either US or metric? And that changes everything. So that's even going to change the climate down the bottom here. So if you wanted to be in either Celsius or Fahrenheit, you've got that flexibility. Down low, you've got your center console here, and this lower screen is strictly going to be for climate settings and then some massage chair seat functionality too. So you've got the flexibility of adjusting out either the first, second, or third row climate. So we are quad zone climate control here. You can easily put it into auto modes, turn it off, etc. Do you want this going to your windshield, etc.? So you've got your windshield defroster, rear defroster, sync everything up. There are some additional options for the first and for the second row. So again, going to windshield face feet, some sort of Frankenstein combination, or you've got this individual screen. So you've got your heated steering wheel button, so you can get at it a few different ways. You can toggle on your heated, ventilated seats. And one cool thing is that when you do this, it's going to actually toggle everything on there. So I think that's probably the more difficult way if you're driving. You can easily adjust it there for the driver-passenger side, but it's still neat that you've got that available. You can also adjust out massage chair seat capabilities, which you can also toggle on this way. So you can kind of twist in order to get to that option and then push in the middle there in order to toggle the system on or off. And there are a few different options that are available. You can adjust out the intensity level there as well, if you'd like. And then there's some additional position systems that are available here too. So you've got the flexibility of adjusting individual elements out, including changing out your memory positions. So, I mean, it's kind of neat that you've got the flexibility to adjust things out for both the driver and for the passenger seat through this mini screen. Down low, you've got a volume rocker there. Push in the middle in order to be able to mute out your audio. And then these buttons here, and then this little dial shifter, get you to individual elements of the infotainment system. So you can use the little rocker dial switch here, go up or down with it in order to get to individual pages. So as you're driving, if you needed to get to different screens, you wanted to change out your drive modes, etc., you'd have the flexibility of being able to do that very easily using the switch. There's a basic back button. You can go to the home screen if you want to and dive into different pages. So do you want to get to navigation, phone calls, media, things like that? You can easily adjust it out and do that right here. You've got a few cup holders down low. You've got 2 USB Type-C charge ports with a dual wireless charge pad there. So you can have 2 different phones there, left versus right. So a little bit of storage down low there. Up overhead, there's an auto-dimming rearview mirror with a fully digital functionality there. You can adjust out the brightness, zoom in or out, move it up or down, or go back to that auto-dimming functionality. You've got SOS and tow mode, four-way blinkers, and then controls here for the panoramic sunroof. So that's going to be for the shade, and then that's going to be your basic roof control there as well. Little light control up overhead, which is nice and simple. And then there is a little camera right there, which is watching you as you drive. So that's just essentially one of the added safety systems to make sure that you're not sleeping as you drive, which kind of makes sense, especially when you look at the available Super Cruise system. So I know that was a heck of a lot of information, but that's everything you need to know about the steering wheel, cluster, head-up display, and a few other things inside of the Cadillac Vistiq.